Hey guys, how are you? Hopping in here, Monday, first day of raising your immunity. So I'm pretty happy, pretty psyched. We have a lot of cool things coming to you over the next 2 weeks. If you did not see my announcement yet in the group, I have already given you guys a meal plan. 1 full week of whole foods, seasonal foods, super low sugar, 99.9% gluten-free, awesome stuff. And I have another week 2 meal plan up for you in the membership site. So make sure you check that out. And if you don't want to follow the meal plan per se, item by item, perfectly, that's okay. You can go through the meal plans and see if there are some recipes in there that you would like to experiment with and try over the next 2 weeks, because they are all immune boosting. Some have different mushrooms, different seasonal vegetables that have lots of vitamin A, and we're going to talk a little bit about vitamin A next week and how that boosts immunity. So all of the meals in there are, they were thought out ahead of time for this time of year if you're looking to use nutrition to boost your immunity, which you can totally do that. So what we want to talk about today are just one major thing to keep in mind when we're talking about using nutrition to help boost our immunity. And all of the things I just mentioned, as well as foods high in vitamin C, taking some good supplements, which we're going to talk about next week. But also there's one thing that will absolutely tank your immunity. And the funny thing about this one thing is that it's hidden in everything. We all know that we shouldn't be eating it, but if it's constantly in our system, it's not only tanking our immunity, but if you're doing some other holistic remedies, like using adaptogens or using other herbal supports to either boost your immunity to prevent infection from occurring, or trying to, once you've gotten a cold or a flu, trying to combat that using some more of these natural remedies, they won't be as effective if you have this one thing constantly in your system. So, I don't know, you guys can probably guess it, but we're going to talk a few minutes about sugar. Sugar is a major amplifier when it comes to drowning out the powerful capabilities of our natural innate immune system and how our white blood cells can really function. So, one statistic that I think is kind of, I don't know, it's a little bit of a game changer. So if you like the facts, if you like understanding content thoroughly so that, it motivates you to make change, when you eat sugar on a consistent basis, it's actually kind of putting your fighter cells in your immune system to sleep. They're kind of snoozing on the job. So if a pathogen invades, like a bacteria or a virus, a parasite, mold, anything like that invades, they're kind of sleeping on the job. They're not paying attention because the sugar will inhibit how effective they can do their job for up to 5 hours after you've had something with, high amounts of sugar in it. So whether that's something you're drinking or something you're eating, just know that if you are having sugar continually throughout your day, out your week, throughout your month, throughout your life, your immune system will never be able to fully fight off those pathogens before they turn into something else, because that's what our immune system is developed to do, to fight off foreign invaders before we actually have to feel the symptoms associated with it. So I brought out a few of my favorite things to share when I talk about the importance of keeping sugar out of our diet. So, actually, what I was going to start off talking about are some of the sugars hidden in the foods we're drinking. Some of the statistics are saying that most of adult American sugar consumption is coming from the things that they're drinking, not necessarily all the time from the foods that they're eating. So I want you to take a really close look at what you're drinking. And I'll give you a perfect example, because you might not even be thinking about, you know, these different types of sugar sources. So I was talking to someone recently, about a week or two ago, and we were talking about, you know, her, you know, she's hit a plateau with her weight loss. And so I started asking her some questions, and it turns out that she was consistently drinking a sweetened iced tea, just a little cup, she reminded me, every single day. So once I showed her different labels of these different, you know, iced teas or different types of drinks that are similar to an iced tea, it was kind of like eye-opening, like, oh my gosh, I'm having like, you know, anywhere from 4 to 6 to 8 teaspoons of sugar a day in this one little drink. So you could be consuming sugar without even really thinking about it. So one of the first things that I want you to start paying attention to are the labels on your drinks. We all know that this one is a big offender when it comes to sugar, okay? But I don't know if you're really thinking about how detrimental. So the serving size for a Coke is 1 full bottle. And then if you look at the nutrition facts label, this might be backwards on the video, but if you look at the nutrition facts label, there's 65 grams of sugar in this one bottle alone. 65 grams. So what does that mean? Because we don't know how to visualize in grams. We don't know what 65 grams looks like, but there are 4 grams of sugar in every teaspoon of sugar, and we can visualize teaspoons. So if we can do some simple math, we'll be able to visualize the teaspoons in the things that we're drinking and in the things that we're eating. So 65 divided by 4, a little over 15. So when you visualize this, and I'm using my organic cane sugar. This isn't even the bad stuff that's in there. This is what I use to, if I'm doing any kombucha or anything like that, to feed the bacteria. But I want you to look at this. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. Okay. 1, 2. Oh, I'm using tablespoons. Hold on. You're like, wait a minute. It's not that bad, right? Okay, here we go. Teaspoon. 1, 2, 3, 4. $13, $14, $15, and there's actually, it's a little bit more than 15. Okay, so look at this. I mean, actually, guys, I'm actually saving you a lot of money if you're a Coke drinker. Just go put 15 teaspoons of sugar, dissolve it in a glass of water, and chug it. It's the same thing. But, no, I'm kidding. Don't do that. But think about it. Like, this is what you're consuming in your body. So if you're consuming this in your body, I just got low power mode. Of course, this always happens to me. If you're consuming 15 teaspoons of sugar every single day, your immune system will not be able to do its job to prevent cold and flu coming down the road. And just to kind of, I love this comparison. In here, there's 22 teaspoons of sugar. So this is 15, this is 22. This is one of the coolest things. This amount of sugar is what the hunter-gatherer populations long time ago would consume of sugar in a full year. A full year. They didn't have to deal with bacteria and viruses and things like that because their immune system was so strong, they were able to fight it off most of the time. So 22 teaspoons in 1 year compared to 15 teaspoons in 1 drink. So you wonder why we have such a hard time preventing viruses, preventing the bacteria, preventing colds and flus and all of that stuff. Oh, our immune system is constantly depressed because of the amount of sugar that we're eating. I mean, even in some of our greenwashed label foods, Nutri-Grain Harvest, I mean, they are advertising right off the front, real fruit, whole grains, 4 grams of protein. However, if I look at the label, there's 15 grams of sugar in this Nutri-Grain Harvest bar, which actually looks pretty good for you. But if you take into consideration the sugar, we're having almost 4 teaspoons of sugar per Nutri-Grain Harvest bar. So some of my favorite swap outs are actually some of the prepared packaged foods that you can get at the grocery store that don't have any extra sugar added to them. I'm going to show you a few. So some of my favorites, I get these at Aldi. Freeze-dried Asian pears, and they have freeze-dried apples and strawberries and blueberries. My kids love these. They go in their lunches and they snack on them throughout the day. But the ingredients, Asian pears. That's it. The ingredients on this Nutri-Grain Harvest bar: whole grain oats, sugar, palm oil with TBHQ for freshness, enriched flour, blah, 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 a million other ingredients. And then the filling has invert sugar, corn syrup, blueberry puree concentrate. Really? This is not good for you. Okay, this is just really good marketing. I like Just Beets because they're just beets. You look at the label, ingredients, beets. You look at this. I love this. I get this at Whole Foods. I love them because it's a nice healthy fat source. They're coconut chips, and the ingredients, coconut and sea salt. So when you compare it again to the onslaught of ingredients in the Nutri-Grain Harvest bar, which again, great marketing, not so great ingredients, this is actually tanking your immune system because of all the sugar, all the different ingredients that your body has to process. And when they're fake ingredients, your liver has to work really hard. Your body doesn't know what to do with it. So it's spending all this time and energy and attention diverted to foods that aren't really foods, instead of fighting off that virus or bacteria that just entered into your system. So read your labels and keep that little trick of 4 grams of sugar equals 1 teaspoon so that you can visualize how much sugar is in the food you're eating. Okay, so these are some of my favorite snacks. So plain coconut with sea salt. I showed you the beets. I showed you the Asian pears. Perfect. And they're great for kids too. Now, some of the other places where hidden sugar might be hanging out could be in your spaghetti sauce. So this has 11 grams of sugar in a half a cup. So if you're using this on pasta, you just poured 11 grams of sugar on top of your pasta, which is probably, if it's, wheat-based or even if it's gluten-free, you have to think about how the body processes that, because white pasta is processed very similar to white sugar. So it could be sugar on top of sugar for dinner with a side of sugar if you're drinking a Coke. Maybe in some marinades. Mango coconut pepper sauce. Not terrible. Okay, but 3 grams of sugar. But that's just in 1 tablespoon. I only get 1 tablespoon of this and I'm still gonna down almost a teaspoon of sugar. There's probably some better options. Your sugar could also be hiding in your salad dressing. So go to your fridge, go to your cabinet, take out the salad dressing, take out your marinades, look at the label, see where this hidden sugar is coming in, because it's the small things that add up that will tank your immune system. 8 grams of sugar, 2 teaspoons. So I'm making this beautiful salad and then I'm literally just pouring sugar over top of it. This is one of my favorite ones. Vitamin water. So vitamin water is supposed to be really good for you because it says it's supposed to be good for you. It says it's vitamin water. Also, the label also says loads of vitamin C, loads of vitamin different Bs, zinc, chromium, electrolytes. Okay, great, fine. However, it's kind of canceled out because there's 32 grams of sugar in this. That's 8 teaspoons of sugar. Okay, so if we are wanting to think about boosting our immune system before we're hit with bacteria, viruses, whatever it is, pathogens, if we want to boost our immune system now, we have to remove the things that are actually dampening our immune system. Sugar's like the biggest one. And when you start reading labels, then you start being like, oh my gosh, I have like, you know, I ate 42 grams of sugar today. No wonder I got sick. Okay, guys, here's the other thing. Halloween, right around the corner. Did you watch my healthy cooking class at the beginning of the month? Because I made some pretty dang good dessert alternatives for the kids in the house. I mean the grown-ups in the house. I made some pretty dang good alternatives because what happens 2 weeks after Halloween? Someone gets sick. Think about it. Where's the connection? You just ate 400 grams of sugar, and then you expect your body to be able to do its job to fight off the pathogens during cold and flu season. It's not going to happen that way. A little bit of tough love here. I'm getting that. Okay, so, but what I want you to realize is that if you stick to, you know, foods that don't have those extra sugars, and if you're joining late, make sure you go back and watch because I shared some of my favorite snacks that don't have any added sugar. And then go back and watch my cooking class too from earlier because we have some really awesome alternatives. Also, in some of the meal plans that I'm putting up in the membership site, some of the snack options are awesome snack options. So I want you, if nothing else, to gain an awareness out of this video so that you are starting to look at your labels. Convert the grams into sugar so that you understand how many teaspoons you are eating per day. Every single time you eat refined sugar, it's going to impact your immune system for 5 hours. So if you're eating sugar for some type of sugar for breakfast, whether it's in a bagel or whether it's in cereal or whether it's, you know, maybe it's maple syrup, you know, anything like that, 5 hours later, you know, or lunchtime, you might be having more sugar. Then you might be having more sugar at dinner. Then you might be having more sugar after dinner. Your immune system for that entire 24 hours is completely depressed. But then what happens the next day? You do the same thing over and over again. So the number one thing to do is to get some really good whole foods into your system. Start making really good choices about what you're drinking. I love, this is lemon water with a few drops of stevia. I love it. I think it tastes like lemonade. I love it. And sometimes you can put, I'll put fresh herbs in here or slice strawberries up or slice up orange slices. It's really good. I also like the LaCroix sparkling water. So if you really do like soda and you have a little bit of an addiction to it, try to find some of these other sparkling alternatives like the Zevia brand. I don't have any here right now. I'd show you. It's Zevia, sweetened with stevia, no extra sugar. I really like root beer, so I like getting their ginger, I don't know, it's like a ginger something flavor. It's really, really good. So the LaCroix sparkling water is another really good alternative. And I also take this Herbal Zap Immune Support. It's an Ayurvedic herbal blend tea that I put into my tea with a little bit of stevia at night, and it has all different kinds of herbal extracts in it. So these are different types of drinks that you could be, and just plain herbal tea too, guys. Lots of water, plain herbal tea. Try to keep the sugar out. Try to look at some of these labels, especially with the greenwashing going on, and identify where those sugar invaders are coming in, because that's going to be the thing that tanks your immune system. And it can also be the thing that you don't even realize it unless you start to be intentional about it. Okay? So be intentional. Here's the thing I want to do for you. If you're not sure if something is healthy, if you're not sure about ingredients, or you need help deciphering nutrition facts on a label, underneath this Facebook Live in the comments section, if you want to take a picture of anything and you want my opinion on it, go ahead and do that. I'd be happy to help you try to siphon out what is appropriate and what is not. Now, if you're a sugarholic or addicted to sugar, no judgment. It is a real thing, and it's really hard to get off. So I'm getting a comment here. Oh, great information. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. So happy it was helpful. If you are addicted to sugar, it's a real deal. It's no joke. It's really hard to curb a sugar addiction if you're focused on what you're taking out. So I always coach my clients to focus on what they're crowding into their diet, okay? So check out the meal plans in the membership site. Focus on adding whole foods into your diet instead of focusing just on, oh my gosh, now I can't have, my vitamin water. What am I going to do? Focus on bringing other things in, and that will help to push out the stuff that you don't want in your diet if it has too much sugar in it. So I hope that helps. Be mindful as Halloween, the holidays come rolling around, because it's flu season. And once we indulge in Halloween or the holidays and we have more sugar than what our body is used to, you'll end up getting sick. Even if you are doing some of the other natural remedy supportive things, this has to come first. So I hope that helps. We will be hopping on the rest of this week to bring you more immunity boosting information, but this is a really simple one to go ahead and just implement right away. Go open your cupboards, go open your fridge, start reading the labels, add up the sugars that you're eating throughout the day, and see what you're up to. And I'm going to leave you with this note. I went shopping for healthy, standard American foods. Pastas, different types of tomato soup, cereal, pretty standard food. At the end of the day, when I counted up the sugar that this imaginary person would be eating, 49 teaspoons of sugar. That's a lot of sugar. No wonder we're sick. No wonder we have chronic illness. No wonder we have issues that, we can't figure out what to do with. So keep that in mind. You could be this, standard American who is trying to, make the best choices, but you just need a little bit more education, and that's where we come in. So I hope this was educational for you. I hope you're not having 49 teaspoons of extrinsic sugar a day. But if you are, start where you are able to. Start with something that you are capable of having success at, and then you can move forward from there. If you need me, tag me. I hope everyone has a good day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.